Hello, welcome to Around the NBA, presented by the Ultimate Sports Show. I'm your host this evening, joined by Manny. As always, Medina is out tonight. Manny, a lot of games to cover. The regular season, the 72-game season, has come to an end today. Unbelievable, obviously, in a whole, with the regular season, the shortened season, I should say. Everything that's been going through the league, the COVID protocols this year, how the NBA has handled the events this year. Obviously, a lot of games to go through today as well. We gotta start. Obviously, Lakers, Pelicans. Lakers wrapping this up, 110-98. Great game for the Lakers. The defense was better. Everything was better about that game. Obviously, it's good to see. It's good. Obviously, it was a little bit scary there at the end. LeBron going down and looked like he was grabbing his ankle. Thank God he was okay.
Yeah, for real.
Vogel said he was okay. Big relief. Good signs though. Glad that they emptied the bench out. I was hoping to get a Jared Dudley 3 at the end of the game, but hey, maybe we might see him. He got minutes, and you might see him again. So all in all, I'm happy Lakers got it done. You got to beat these kind of teams, and that's what we were saying, though. But it was coming down. It was getting a little too close there at the end. Obviously, there was score watching involved with the Portland and Nuggets game, which we will get into as well. But obviously, great game for the Lakers to come out and wrap up their regular season.
Yeah, it was a bit of a close game, 110-98, obviously. But I'm very happy that the Lakers won. Not too happy that that Portland won too, but it's all good. I'm obviously ready to get this play-in tournament going. I would rather we make the playoffs, but obviously I'm glad that the Lakers won. Very happy we won. LeBron James played well, shot 2 for 5 from 3 actually, and he did a nice logo 3. He did basically a F star 3, which I love to see. And AD, AD didn't play really well, in my opinion, but his presence was still felt, in my opinion, also. But Drummond, shout out to Andre Drummond. He played a very good game. At 13 points, 13 rebounds. Nice 13-13 action. I like that. Shout out to Will Chamberlain, obviously. 6 for 11 from the field. And then Dennis Schroeder, he shot okay. He could be better. 2 for 6 from 3s could be better, in my opinion. But he still had 12 points. KCP as well. Same thing, 2 for 6 from 3. And the bench, in my opinion, didn't exactly show up like I thought they would. But we still won the game, which I'm happy about, obviously. But shout out to the Pelicans. Even the fact that they didn't have their main guys in Zion, Ingram, and my boy Lonzo playing. They still had some really decent players playing in this game. Willie Hernan-Gomez, obviously, with 19 points, 13 rebounds. He looked really good. He looked like his Charlotte Hornets days, to tell you the truth. I like that. And again, Aaron, it happened that a random guy got a career high. This guy, Marshall, I've never even heard of this guy. I didn't even know this guy even existed. Who the hell's Marshall? He had 18 points and shot 4 for 6 from 3. Lakers got to clean up their act on that aspect, that we let these random guys getting career highs. I hope that in the play-in tournament against the Warriors, we don't let Juan Toscano Anderson, whatever his name is, get a career high. I hope that doesn't happen, obviously. But honestly, shout out to us winning. I just wish Portland would have lost, because we would have directly went to the playoffs in the Saturday. But it is what it is. We're gonna beat the Warriors. I have absolutely no fear in Golden State. And even if we lose to Golden State, I have no fear in Memphis or San Antonio. So I'm just happy with the overall aspect. I wish we would have went directly to the playoffs, but it is what it is.
Exactly, it is what it is. We said that earlier in the pregame show. So the Lakers just made their own destiny, and that's how the marbles fall. That was all you can do. You could scoreboard watch all you want, but obviously let's get into it. Portland and Denver. Pretty one-sided, obviously, 132-116. Portland came out red hot in this game. They look solid. Obviously, we can't talk enough about Dame Time and their crew of McCollum and Nurkic. those guys all just came to play, and they just absolutely outplayed them. It was pretty one-sided most of the game.
Yeah, I was watching that game at the same time as the Laker game, and they were up like I think at one point like 30-12. They were absolutely destroying Denver. Sadly, they were, but one thing I gotta say is shout out to Portland. They always play really well, especially with Damian Lillard. Dame time all the time. 22 points, 10 assists, 5 for 9 from the three, and then his running mate C.J. McCollum, 24 points. Shout out to Kobe, 24 points, 5 for 9 from the three again. He also had 5 assists, not the worst in my opinion.
Yeah.
But their whole starting besides Robert Covington, their whole starting five iron absolutely showed up. Norman Powell, obviously living here in Canada, a lot of Raptor fans are very familiar with him. He had a great game as well. Shot 3 for 5 from 3, 5 for 9 from the field, and had 19 points. 19 points. And Nurkic, obviously, one of the most underrated players in basketball. Like I said, the last around the NBA we did, I believe, he had 20 points and 13 rebounds, and he shot 8 for 10 from the field. He almost had an efficient game, which is absolutely incredible. But even their bench guys, shout out to Carmelo Anthony, still in the league, and he's still contributing. Even though he's not young Melo, he's still contributing in some ways, like off the bench that he has 10 points and 2 for 5 from the three. And then you got Enes Kanter. Listen to the stat line, Aaron. He shot 5 for 5 from the field, Enes Kanter, and he had 14 rebounds and 15 assists off the bench. Absolutely incredible. He looked like Andre Drummond. And obviously,
That's incredible.
That's incredible, absolutely. And then obviously Anthony Simons, young stud. He won the slam dunk competition this year, and he shot 2 for 5 from the three. He's obviously no slouch either. He looks like not only is he a young guy, but he looks very young. He looks like he's a 16-year-old.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's kind of like me, as a baby face.
We all know about baby faces now, but
yeah, true.
It honestly, watching Portland play though, people were asking me too. They're like, are you worried? Are you worried about if this situation would come that the Lakers would have to play Portland at all, or vice versa? And I was like, you know what? No, because in the end of the day, Portland just was the better team. They beat the Lakers. They got the games they needed to win. They earned their spot that they're in. So they earned it fair and square. They were the better team tonight, though. I mean, honestly, like you were saying, not having Jamal Murray for the Nuggets really kind of puts a bend on that team. I just don't think Denver has enough firepower to win these games without Murray, because he basically runs their show.
Oh, absolutely. That's spot on facts. They always run the show when they play. But also, like, shout out to Denver as well. They even though they got beat down, they still had a great game from their guys. Nikola Jokic had 21 points. He's still Jokic. He's still the Joker no matter what. And then their bench obviously showing up with Paul Millsap, Jeff Green, obviously, with 11 points and shooting 3 for 4 from 3, 4 for 5 from the field. Incredible stuff from him. And then Marcus Howard, like another no-name guy showing up. I mean, it wasn't against the Lakers, but like the Portland kind of pulled the Lakers right there, letting a random guy get a career high. Who the hell is Marcus Howard? 23 points off the bench. Okay, like, this is getting out of hand, Aaron. The fact that like these random guys keep getting career highs like every time, but it's good. Yeah. It's good for them because it lets them have their moment. Like, obviously, if you're a no-name NBA player, it's always nice to get a really good night. I could also compare it to something that happened like 3 years ago with the Lakers when we had I don't know if you remember Andre Ingram when he played that. When he played that game, when he had when he played his NBA debut after like 10 years in the G League, and he had like 19, 20 points in the game, like nice. It's nice to see that stuff happen in the league.
It's really nice, and honestly, it needs to happen more often. Where at least guys like that, for instance, he got his opportunity to play. And, it should happen more often, especially on the last game of the year. I mean, you're not hurting anybody. I mean,
absolutely.
Especially whatever your record may be, win or lose, if you're going to the playoffs, one game, losing one more game is not going to be the end of the world. So, but obviously that game when it was, so now obviously in the Lakers aspect of that whole thing, They're playing the Warriors. 7 o'clock on the West Coast. 10 p.m. for those that are on the East Coast time. You don't want to miss that as well. But obviously, let's get into the other games that happened today. Speaking of the Warriors, because we have to mention the Warriors, honestly, and LeBron actually, I was just reading LeBron actually just said it as well. Possibly a front runner-up, or in his mind, an MVP candidate, Steph Curry, man. We have to talk about the Warriors. 113 to 101. He is just out of his mind shooting this year. I think he's averaging 32 points a game. He's shooting great. The team that they have is different, absolutely different from where they were in February and March. I mean, they were completely different. Their whole team, just the way they were playing defense, the way their offense was struggling. They are healthier now. Possibly, here's even the crazier news. Klay Thompson could return on Wednesday as well.
That is crazy. Klay Thompson hasn't played in 2 years.
Yeah,
I'd be very happy for them if Klay got to play. But obviously, like, shout out to Steph Curry. He has been incredible his whole career. It's like my one of my favorite YouTubers, Flight, would always say, "Look at Curry, man, so inspirational." And yeah, very inspirational. 46 points. I'm looking at his stats right now, Aaron. 46 freaking points. This guy is a scoring machine. And apparently I heard a stat on Twitter also that I think only Michael Jordan and Wilt Chamberlain have done it in like consecutive seasons where they've got like 40 plus points consecutively, which is absolutely incredible. And he also had 9 assists as well. Okay, he shot way too many threes. He shot 22 threes. That's a little too crazy, but it's Steph Curry, and that's his game, so I can't really complain about that. Andrew Wiggins, former number 1 overall pick. Minnesota obviously didn't want him years ago, so they traded him to Golden State to get D'Angelo Russell. But Wiggins has been a great sidekick with Klay being out, which is really great for them. He had 21 points and he had 10 rebounds. And he even made 2 threes, which is very, very nice to see. And then you have Draymond Green, who in my opinion, I basically call him an older Lonzo Ball oftenly. Because I feel like he plays a lot like Lonzo in a lot of ways. He had 14 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists. Was very close to getting a triple-double. So the Warriors could be really dangerous come playoff time if they actually get Klay Thompson. I'm obviously, as a Laker fan, I'm hoping he doesn't return because, look, I feel like I'm confident that we're going to beat the Warriors regardless. But with Klay, it's going to be a lot tougher. That's why I don't want to see Klay returning. Klay, if you're watching this, it's probably not, return next season. I know you're going to give my Lakers problems, and I don't want to see that.
Honestly though, I mean, no matter what happens, even honestly though, Manny, even if Klay does return and he does play on Wednesday, he's not going to be 100%. I mean, it'd be his first game back. You got to get your legs under you. And obviously, regardless of whatever the case may be with scoring, because we obviously can't predict anything.
Yeah.
It's just good to see him back. It's good to see him having a chance to play. He's one hell of a scorer. Him and Curry, we know the rest is history. With him, Curry and Draymond can do together. There's something special. And no matter what, it'll be great, hopefully, to see him in a normal 82-game season the following next year after this playoff season concludes. He's just one hell of a scorer. On the other hand, Memphis here. Memphis is going to be playing again. They're going to be playing again.
San Antonio.
San Antonio. So they're still hanging around. I mean, look, they got, we already know they got Valanciunas, Anderson, and Jared Jackson Jr. They're a good team too. They are still very much in it. Doesn't matter what the records are. They still got to come out there. They still got to participate. They have a chance even possibly getting in if they beat San Antonio. What do you think?
Absolutely. They have a great shot at beating San Antonio. I think I have Memphis meeting whoever loses the 7-8 seed to get that 8 spot. Like I know with respect to San Antonio, they got a squad right there, but I just think Memphis is so deep, and the fact that they have Ja Morant, who's one of the best young players in all basketball. I know he didn't have a great game shooting wise tonight, like yesterday, because right now it's Monday here, so yesterday, but he still has Jaren Jackson Jr. with him. He has Jonas Valanciunas with him. Shout out to Canada. He also has Dylan Brooks with him, Brandon Clark, Xavier Tillman, Tyus Jones, Anthony Melton. They have a squad, Memphis. Like, don't be surprised if they get that 8th seed. I'm calling it. I'm calling it like Lakers getting the 7th, and Memphis is getting 8th. Like, without a doubt, I think Memphis deserves to be in the playoffs. They deserved to be in the playoffs last year. If it wasn't for that NBA restart in the bubble, it wouldn't have been Portland getting the 8th seed. It would have been Memphis getting the 8th seed. I'm really high on Memphis, and I think if they get another piece next to Ja and JJJ in the offseason, don't sleep on the Grizzlies. I think the Grizzlies could be a top 5 seed next year if they do that. Like, think about it. Think about if they can trade for Bradley Beal, Memphis. Imagine Bradley Beal along with Ja Morant. That would be insane backcourt. Absolutely.
That would be crazy because, obviously we know what they could do. They're a good team. Honestly, John Morant doesn't get enough credit. I mean, do you agree? Like,
very underrated.
He's one of the most underrated people on that team.
Thank you.
Honestly, 38 minutes, he only scored 16 points. It doesn't matter though. Like, yes, they lost by 12, but he just comes out there and competes. He's got a good team. Valanciunas and him and Jackson, they all have such great chemistry. I feel like Memphis could very much be in it even more next year. I think they just need at least one more piece or so, one more, maybe another big, maybe an extra forward or another guard, however they want to go about it. But I definitely could see Memphis back in this thing, and it'd be a long time coming. I mean, we know Memphis has not been this playoff good since obviously Mark and Zebo and Connolly. It's been a long time since they've been really good.
Yeah, Zebo was something special. The Junkyard Dog.
Oh yeah,
he was. Yeah, he was one of my favorite players to watch, and
Tony Allen too.
Tony Allen, and we all remember what Kobe said about him. He's the best
guy that could guard him.
The only guy who could guard him, the best defender he's ever faced. So Memphis had a really good squad, and I'm happy for the Grizzlies. The fact that they have a team again, because Memphis was abysmal the past 2 years. So it's nice to see them play great once again.
Yeah, so, honestly, let's get into the other games as well.
Absolutely.
Suns and the Spurs, 123-121. Wow, it was close.
A shootout.
It was an absolute shootout. Phoenix just keeps coming. They just keep coming. Obviously, I think they basically, they benched all their normal guys, so no Booker, no nobody. And look, they still won. I mean, look at their bench. I mean, the bench, even, most people are just saying, like, okay, most teams are going to wrap it up. Like, they're not going to care. Phoenix isn't going to care about this game today. But you know what? Like, they still have, it's crazy to think, Manny, that most of these teams just still have such a decent bench. They could still come out there and beat a team. It does, even San Antonio, no matter their situation right now, yes, they needed a win. If they won this game, it would be a whole different story. But the side to that is they're just coming out, other teams are coming out with their bench guys and still putting up numbers, still putting up production there. And obviously a lot of these guys that are playing, a lot of them are the future of the league.
Absolute facts, what you just said. Absolutely, 100%. Phoenix is such a deep team. They could easily make a run in the Western Conference without a doubt. And the only reason why Utah got the 1 seed is because Phoenix wasn't exactly picking up much pace to start the year. But if Phoenix was playing like an all-around team to start the season, Phoenix would have definitely had the best record in all basketball, not the Utah Jazz, because they have such a deep, deep team. But the reason why I said that I have Utah doing better in the playoffs than Phoenix is because Utah has better defense. But Phoenix has really, really good depth. Like, think about it, Aaron. Like you said, they didn't play Booker, they didn't play Chris Paul, they didn't play DeAndre Ayton, and they still got the job done against the Spurs team, who's very much making the play-in tournament without a doubt.
Yeah.
Dario Saric had a good game. Jalen Smith has been not bad this year. He had a double-double with 11 points, 10 rebounds. And then there was one guy that the league pretty much wrote off for so many years now, Cameron Payne. Everyone was saying, like, this kid's a bust. He's not good at basketball. He's washed. He's a scrub. But then like, he kind of revitalized his career this year on Phoenix, because on the Thunder and on the Bulls, people are calling him a scrub, like the analysts and the fans and stuff. But he actually revitalized his career in Phoenix. He has 19 points, 3 for 6 from the field, 7 for 14 from the field as well. He's been absolutely incredible this year. He's been a great backup to Chris Paul, in my opinion. But I mean, he started this game because Chris Paul obviously rested. But
Yeah.
Even Javon Carter's another guy. I think he was Devin Booker's backup last year and this year. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. But he played very well too. He had a double-double as well, like Jalen Smith. 19 points, 10 rebounds. He shot poorly from the three, but he did give you 9 field goals, which helped a lot with Phoenix. But obviously their bench as well. Etwan Moore, if I'm not mistaken, I think he had a game-winning shot today. Etwan Moore. He had 22 points off the bench, and he shot 9 for 10 from the field. Incredible stuff for Etwan Moore. And then Frank Kaminsky, of course, Frank the Tank, 11 points, 10 rebounds. He even made a 3 and shot 5 for 10 from the field. Torrey Craig played well. Langston Galloway played well. Phoenix is so deep. Aaron, you are right what you just said. You said it spot on. They're such a deep team, Phoenix, and they could definitely wreak havoc. And obviously, bring on Phoenix, because we all know if we beat the Warriors on Wednesday, we get Phoenix in the first round. And we all remember, Aaron, as Laker fans, the battles we had with Phoenix, 2006, 2007, and 2010. We're gonna get a rematch of that in 2021, which is incredible stuff. But then obviously there's the San Antonio Spurs are making the play-in as well. They played that game and they made it very close against Phoenix. DeMar DeRozan, what's there to say about him? Absolute stud. One of my favorite players to watch in the NBA for sure is DeMar DeRozan, with 23 points and 8 for 14 from the field. Funny thing is that's my birth date right there, 8/14, which is funny. But not only that, but even Jakob Poeltl. DeMar DeRozan and Jakob Poeltl were part of that Kawhi trade years ago, and they have been playing amazing in San Antonio. Shout out to them. Jakob Poeltl with 17 points and 10 rebounds. And then obviously Rudy Gay, who's been an above average basketball player for many, many years now. He's obviously like their go-to guy off the bench. And don't sleep on Rudy Gay. He's actually, he can make some shots. So if we face off against if we end up facing off against, let's just say if we lose against Golden State and San Antonio beats Memphis, we can face off against San Antonio, and that's one guy we have to watch out for. I have to watch out for Rudy Gay, because he can come on the bench and make some shots. And obviously, there's guys like Drew Ebanks, Keita Bates-Diop. Like, they have a good bench as well, San Antonio. So these are teams that are obviously no slouch at all, in my opinion.
Yeah, let's get into Celtics Knicks. You got to talk about the East. Obviously, got to talk about the Knicks. 4 seed. I mean, I know your buddy, I know your friend loves the Knicks. McEwen loves the Knicks. This is for you, McEwen, if you're watching.
Yep.
Celtics Knicks 96-92. What is it? I mean, what's there to say about the Knicks, man, this year? They are great. They're just playing great. Julius Randle, we talk about him all the time. We talked about him, how great he was in the Knicks and the Lakers game. RJ Barrett has been doing well. Derrick Rose has been the story of this year. I think he should be most improved player.
Absolutely.
And comeback player of the year. You can't say enough about how great the Knicks are. They're 10 games over 500 to finish the year. Like, what, just that right there?
That's
like
crazy.
What a story for them this year.
Absolutely. Shout out to the New York Knicks. Shout out to my boy McEwen. Shout out to my boy Jonte. Shout out to one of my favorite NBA YouTubers, Six Rings of Steel. Shout out to Stephen A. Smith. Shout out to Spike Lee. You guys finally got a squad, and don't be surprised if the New York Knicks make conference finals. I think they're going to face off against Brooklyn in the conference finals, or Philly. It wouldn't surprise me.
Could you imagine Knicks and the Nets in
Yup.
the Eastern Conference Finals? Do you have any idea?
Money wise.
Money, not only just money though, if you think about it, not only money, but it's also what a competition between the Big Apple and the Nets, because the Nets are the Nets, and it's just Brooklyn and New York. You just love it. It's just such a good rivalry, and it's something that a lot of people said, when the Nets moved and they found their home in Brooklyn after being in New Jersey for so long. They said, it'd be great to say, hey, these two teams someday should go at it. Like, they should be able to be as good and just both have a chance to play each other. I mean, that would be the best series, probably 7-game series, easily 7-game series in the East. That would be unbelievable.
Without a doubt. Because both teams are contending for the East, which is absolutely incredible. And I've been to New York 5 times. It's an absolute magical city. Manhattan is gorgeous. Brooklyn is gorgeous. So imagine having back and forth games, MSG, Barclays Center. Absolutely crazy. But honestly, shout out to the New York Knicks. Julius Randle should without a doubt be most improved player of the year. He is absolutely incredible, and he should also be top 5, top 4 in MVP voting as well, because he's the reason why this Knicks team is where it's at. He absolutely broke out, and obviously, us being Laker fans, we remember how special he was, part of that young core. I know he didn't want to stay in 2018. He asked Rob to reannounce his rights, but it is what it is. That was many years ago. I'm totally over that, obviously, but he had a great game of 20 points. 7 rebounds, 7 assists. And you're right about that, McEwen. Shout out to you. He should be in the MVP conversation. I said it. He should be top 4 in that MVP voting. But without a doubt, McEwen, because obviously you're watching this because you're in the comments, without a doubt, he should win the MIP, the most improved. If he doesn't win most improved, I will tell you guys right now, it's rigged. It's absolutely rigged if he doesn't win the most improved. And I'm not even a Knicks fan saying this, and I'm backing your guy up, McEwen. But shout out to the Knicks. They've been playing amazing this year, like we said. Reggie Bullock, another former Laker. We had him half a year with LeBron and Lonzo and Ingram and Hart and everybody. But he shot 4 for 7 from the 3, 16 points, shot 6 for 9 from the field. RJ Barrett, 3rd overall pick. He's been incredible. Shout out to Canada. Shout out to Mississauga, Ontario. Shout out to the Maple Mamba. He has been amazing. 22 points, shot 7 for 12 from the field, 2 for 4 from the 3. He even had 4 rebounds as a guard. That's pretty good in my opinion. And then their bench obviously showing up as well. Alec Burks. He's been a great backup to Frank Ntilikina, because I don't know. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think Frank Ntilikina starts. He used to start last year. I don't think he starts this year, but Alec Burks has always been a great backup in his NBA career, and he showed that getting 17 points and shooting 5 for 7 from the 3. And then there's obviously the Boston Celtics. They've been underperforming this year. I'm sorry if you're watching this and you're a Celtics fan, but they have been underperforming this year. They should not be a 17. They should be a top 4 seed with their squad. But obviously, doesn't look like Jason Tatum played. It looked like he had a left ankle injury, according to ESPN. But obviously, they have a somewhat okay team depth-wise. Grant Williams looked like he had 13 points. Romeo Langford, who was a lottery pick 2 years ago, he looked okay with 14 points and 4 rebounds and 4 assists. Peyton Pritchard, who's their lottery pick this year, he looked okay with 6 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. He basically had a 6-6-6 game, 6 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. So if he had 4 more of those, in both those stats, he would have a triple-double. So that's not the worst, in my opinion. But obviously, there's one guy who's been kind of forgotten in the NBA, and he actually showed up really well on the bench. And that's number 2 overall pick, Jabari Parker. Remember people forgot about him on the He used to play for the Kings. He used to play for the Bulls. He used to play for the Bucks. Now he found a home in Boston, and he had 18 points and 7 rebounds and shot 6% from the field off the bench. So he was very key for them. And even though people want to label him a bust, you can't do that. Like, yes, he didn't live up to the number 2 pick hype, but he's still been a decent player on the NBA aspect. So, like, people not giving him a shot, I find that's unfair to them. Like, he can still do wonders for you off the bench.
Absolutely. Hey, you know what they say? It's like I said earlier, underrated players, man. You know, another one of those people to add to the list. Let's also get into, obviously, feels like yesterday because it was the Pacers and the Raptors. Obviously, Raptors are eliminated, so this was their final game of the year. And obviously, I have to mention the Pacers first, Manny, because you know what? Sabonis played 25 points as well. I have to mention Sampson went off, had one of the best games he's ever had tonight, or last night, or I should say yesterday afternoon. 0 points tonight. So I think, you know what they say is you go off against one team and then you're back to normal, back to a little bit more normalcy here, or just tired legs. So shout out to the Pacers. They take care. I knew they were going to bounce back. I meant, obviously Lakers beat them, which they needed to do, and the Lakers were dominant, and they won that game fair and square. They came back and get a depleted Raptors team. Obviously, shout out to Toronto as well. But, you know, hey, they came out, they came ready to play, and, hey, you never know what the Pacers can do, though.
Yeah, absolutely. They're obviously a very underrated team, and I mentioned to you Medina many times with Karis LeVert. Yeah. I know he didn't shoot a lot from the field, but he still gave you 13 points. He gave you 6 assists. He played very well. Dougie McBuckets, obviously 20 points, shot 4 for 8 from the 3. If you're Pacer fans, if you're gonna get Dougie McBuckets shooting threes like that, don't be surprised if they can clinch the 8 seed, the Pacers. Then obviously you mentioned Domantas Sabonis, one of the best young power forwards in the league. He had 25 points and 16 rebounds. Very good game for Sabonis. And then obviously shout out to Canada, O'Shea Brissett. He this guy came out like undrafted in the league. Pacers gave him a shot, and he started the game, had 31 points, 10 rebounds, shot 5 for 8 from the 3. Very, very good game for O'Shea Brissett. And then obviously, since this show is not only based in LA, it's also based in Montreal. I gotta mention the Raptors, obviously. And
before you mention the Raptors here, and before you get into it, can you believe we witnessed a stat line where every one of the Raptors players at least played 41 to 46 minutes because they had one guy available on their bench, and that was Aaron Baines. He was the only guy available on their bench. DNPs, fractured left foot. DNPs, left tendonitis. DNP, sore left foot. DNP, coach's decision. One guy on their bench, Aaron Baines, played 26 minutes in the game because they just don't have anybody else to play. I mean, honestly, we've been through that. People know, like, the Lakers have been through that. Lakers went through that situation as well.
Yep, we did.
Obviously, they had that one game where only one guy was available to play. But I can't believe it. And also, at the same time, I'm just in shock with it. But also, I just feel bad for the Raptors, man. They had a rough stretch of injuries this year. And obviously, this kind of game, I mean, I'm sure Raptors fans, and I'm sure even the Raptors announcers and their crew were even as much shocked as we were.
Yeah, I saw a bit of the Raptors game today. Matt Devlin and Jack Armstrong, which are the lead commentators on TSN over here in Canada.
Yeah.
They were pretty sad, and it's understandable. They had a lot of injuries, had a lot of COVID issues, but I still find that crazy, Aaron, that they actually they had all kinds of injuries, and they ran a 6-man rotation. I've never seen a 6-man rotation in my life. Like, that's crazy. They only have one guy on the bench, and they all played 40 minutes. The starting 5 played 40 minutes. That's crazy. Obviously, like shout out to Montreal native Ken Birch. He got waived by the Orlando Magic, and now he's on the Raptors, and he's actually looked really good. 18 points, 14 rebounds. He shot 8 for 15 from the field, and obviously to my fellow Montrealers, the Raptors have two guys from Montreal on the team, and Chris Boucher and Ken Birch. So that's actually nice to see as a Montrealer that there's two guys on the same team. And then you got Stanley Johnson. He played very well. Shout out to Kobe because he had 24 points. He had 7 assists, 5 rebounds. He had a great game as well. Shot horrible from the three though. 3 for 12. I don't know what he was doing there. Kind of looking like Kyle Kuzma in that aspect of the game. Malachi Flynn, their 29th pick in the first round, looking really good with 27 points, 5 for 13 from the three. The Raptors looks like they shoot way. Looks like they're a lot like the Lakers, that they shoot way too much from the three. Not a good look, Raptors fans. Not a good look. And then DeAndre Bembry, 23 points, 5 rebounds, but this guy's on a 1-year deal. It's not like he's gonna stay long. I think the Raptors just signed him for like a filler, in my opinion.
Yeah. Obviously to keep it simple and short and sweet with the Raptors, time to move on to next season. Get healthy, and hopefully we'll see them back in the playoffs as well. And who knows? The East could be, once other teams get healthy enough, the East might get up there a little bit more. So there's a lot of strong potentials in the East as well as it is already a dominant West. So let's get into the Wizards, Hornets. Wizards 115 to 110. Obviously, we can't begin this conversation without Westbrook, man. Westbrook has just been incredible. I think him going to the Wizards just kind of made him become more of a passer instead of so much of worrying about shooting. I mean, don't get me wrong, we know he could shoot, but I mean, he just kind of went back to being a little bit more traditional of a point guard. Like, let me get my guys involved. Let me throw up a triple double again. I think he's got 185 triple doubles now, and he passed Oscar Robinson. We know it's incredible just what he's doing in his career. 40 minutes again, 23, 10, and 15. Manny, unheard of numbers.
Incredible.
Unheard of numbers, and I mean, don't get me wrong, Wizards, yes, the record isn't great, but when he plays this well, you never know what the Wizards might look like even next season.
Absolutely. Like, and also to bring up also the Wizards, they're on a massive winning streak. I think they were like the 12th seed, like a month ago or something, and now they officially clinched like the 8th seed, and now they're going to be in the play-in tournament. It's incredible, in my opinion, to see that. But Russell Westbrook, what is there to say about him? He has been out of his mind this year, but he's always out of his mind. The past 4 years, he's been getting triple doubles like nothing, and now he's like, I think now because he's playing with like Bradley Beal, he's playing with like the second best scorer in basketball this year. So now he's getting a lot of media attention, and also Washington is the U.S. capital, so like I'm sure like a lot of the American media is like giving him a lot of attention, which is great for him because Russell Westbrook has been underrated the past few years. Nobody used to talk about him. People have forgot about his game, but he's still proven the haters wrong. He's still getting the triple doubles like nothing. Then obviously another guy we didn't talk about as well is Bradley Beal with 25 points, 6 rebounds. He shot bad from 3. 3 for 11. I don't know what the hell is going on over there. But honestly, you can't really expect Bradley Beal to get 25 points and to get 30 points every single night because he has another running mate in Russell Westbrook who could actually just feed off of all that scoring, which is great. But then you have also the fact that they're very like complemented with a bunch of rookies as well. I mean, Hachimura is not a rookie; he's obviously a sophomore, but he's been playing very well as well. 16 points, 6 rebounds, shot for 2 for 3 from the field, 7 for 12 from the field. He played very well. Obviously, there's another great 3-point shooter that they have in Davis Bertans, who had 11 points and shot 3 for 7 from the 3. Like, I remember that when he was on the Spurs, he played very, very well. And then Washington ended up getting him for nothing last year, I think. I still think the Lakers should have got him last year, but that's no here or there. Obviously, another guy that played very well off the bench for the Wizards is Robin Lopez, another guy that people forget about as well, who's a very good rebounder and someone that could actually shoot very well from the field and get you big minutes off the bench. He had 18 points and 6 rebounds and shot 9 for 11 from the field. Almost a very efficient game for him, which is absolutely amazing. And then you obviously got the Charlotte Hornets, who made it a very good game because they only lost by 5, so they were very much in that hump, and they almost won the game, obviously. But what is there to say about LaMelo Ball? He has been amazing this year, Aaron. He is by far, without a question, there's no argument needed, he is winning the Rookie of the Year. He has been absolutely incredible, consistently great shooter. He's been getting 19 to 20 points like absolutely nothing, which is insane. And he has a great backcourt guy as well in Terry Rozier.
Oh yeah.
I know obviously like Charlotte Hornets fans are obviously sad that they got rid of their franchise guy in Kemba Walker, but in that sign and trade to get Terry Rozier, I don't think they should be complaining at all. Terry Rozier has been amazing. You know, Scary Terry. He has 22 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists, almost like a triple double for a shooting guard. Very good, and you don't hear many shooting guards getting triple doubles, which is absolutely crazy. Apart from obviously James Harden. James Harden's like the only shooting guard you really hear today getting triple doubles. But Miles Bridges, who is, in my opinion, one of the best dunkers in all of basketball, he had nice 17 points, and he had 6 for 18 from the field. Shot a little too much, but he still gave you that 17 points and contributed great offensively. And then PJ Washington, Jaden McDaniels, they have such a great young team, Charlotte. They're basically, in my opinion, the Memphis Grizzlies of the Eastern Conference, in my opinion, which I think. And then, obviously, their bench contributes a lot as well. Like Devontae Graham, Malik Monk. I mean, Malik Monk didn't score today, but he usually gives you big minutes off the bench and scores a lot off the bench. Bismack Biyombo, Cody Zeller. Like, the Charlotte Hornets are definitely, in my opinion, the Memphis Grizzlies of the East. The way they play and the fact that they're so young but so underrated, and they're going to be a great team in next year. Next year, I think they're going to be a top 4 seed in my opinion.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think, hey, it just when in doubt, just keep pushing, and as long as they stay healthy, as long as LaMelo stays healthy, I think they'll be all right. They just got to keep building around him. Jordan's got to keep building a team around him. And obviously what they haven't done before, obviously what they did with Kemba, we know. Keep these guys, keep people that you have on this team, spend the money. We know they have money. Spend the guys, keep them, lock them up, and keep building around this team, because I'd love to see the Hornets obviously be competitive in the next few years.
Same.
Let's get into the Rockets and the Hawks. Obviously, not a lot to say about. I mean, obviously Atlanta has been playing great. Not a whole lot to say about Houston. We already know their situation. They are looking for the lottery, and that's what they're aiming for. Let's start with them anyhow. They do have Kelly Olynyk, Kenyon Martin, DJ Augustine. They still have pieces in this puzzle here of what they're trying to accomplish eventually next season. Trying to build around younger core teams ever since Harden's departure. They got a long ways to go, though. I definitely feel like I don't think they're going to be in so much of the playoff picture, at least for the next few years. I think they're just going to try and build around a younger core group of people. Versus, obviously, in the other hand of Atlanta, they have, John Collins, and obviously we can't go talking about the Atlanta Hawks without Trae Young. These guys come out there, they compete, they play great. I can't say enough about watching these guys come out there. They're young and they're fun. They're a fun team to watch.
Atlanta, absolutely. They're very young and very fun to watch. Like, what is there to say about Trae Young? Obviously, I mean, he didn't have a great game tonight, but he's usually a guy who's like, I always call him the next Steph Curry, the way he plays. Like, he's able to pull up from anywhere. He's able to hit deep threes. He's able to be such a big impact on the court, which is amazing to watch. And then, like you said, John Collins, great running mate. I know he was in a lot of trade rumors in the past, and people were like, "Is he gonna get a contract extension or not?" But that's no here or there, obviously. But he's been a great running mate next to a Trae Young. He had 15 points and 5% from the field. But he's someone who could get you buckets really easy, and he's someone who could attack in the paint, obviously. And then Anaka Okongwu, who was their sixth overall pick this year in the draft. He had 21 points, 15 rebounds. Great game for Anaka Okongwu, in my opinion. Great. DeAndre Hunter, we kind of gave them DeAndre Hunter technically. Because in the AG trade, we traded the fourth pick to get AD, and then the Pelicans traded that pick in order for the Hawks to select DeAndre. So we kind of gave him DeAndre Hunter. So I'm sure the Hawks are happy that we gave them them DeAndre Hunter, because he's been a very good guy as well for them. Very good young team, and I'm very happy to see Atlanta back in the playoffs, because we all remember back in the day, didn't they have the 1 seed at one point, like in 2016 or 2015? They were a very good team.
Oh yeah,
with Al Horford, and obviously they have a great bench with Lou Will. Lou Williams has always been a great bench player. One of the best, if not the best, bench player in all basketball for the past 5-6 years, in my opinion. And then they have this really good young player who's been the backup to Trae Young. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's the backup to Trae Young. Skylar Mays. He has been really, really good. Because obviously I have League Pass, so I catch a lot of NBA games here, then, or there. But I've seen this kid play. He is really, really good. So underrated. He's so fast on the court, so crafty. He can make passes, he can rebound, he can score. He's very, very underrated, Skylar Mays. But then they got the Houston Rockets. Obviously, they have the worst record in basketball. They're looking to get Kate Cunningham or possibly Evan Mobley or possibly even Jalen Suggs. But obviously, they still played okay, even though they got killed, because they had some contributors on their team. Kelly Olynyk, obviously, like you mentioned, Aaron, great player.
Yeah.
He had 16 points, 6 rebounds, shot 2 for 5 from the 3. And I love seeing big men that can shoot. Like, Kelly Olynyk is not just their average rebound. He could actually give you some shots center there, which is actually great to see. Kenyon Martin Jr., obviously we know who his father is. His father is Kenyon Martin. He's been in the league for many, many years. And now he's got his son playing in the league, which is incredible for the dad, in my opinion. But he had 10 points, 6 rebounds, shot 2 for 9 from the 3. He shot a little horrible from the 3, in my opinion. But he's there to be a filler on the roster and play very well. And then obviously DJ Augustine, great backup point guard to John Wall. Obviously, and we know John Wall got shut down this year because there's no point in him playing because the Rockets are looking to tank.
Exactly. Let's get into the other games as well. Got to talk about the other people that share Staples Center as well with the Lakers. That is the Los Angeles Clippers. Clippers Thunder. Really, Clippers losing this game really doesn't hurt them so much, because they're still, obviously the only side to the whole factor is that the way the Clippers are seated right now, if there was, we say if there is a possible chance at both the teams playing against each other, it would ideally not happen till if they both make it to the West Finals. That would be the only opportunity the Lakers and the Clippers would be able to play each other and talk about an easy swap. Talk about no traveling. But obviously, Clippers didn't get it done today. They rested most of their guys today as well, which is not surprising. They don't need it. It was mostly about a young core team. Hey, Patrick Beverly, still putting up numbers, he's still a great scorer. They still have obviously Reggie Jackson, Ibaka, and they have a good team. They still have pieces around them that these guys, that a lot of their bench guys can really just kind of help them out, and these guys are the ones that have helped them win these games.
Yeah, absolutely. Clippers are a very good team, very good, very deep team actually.
Yeah.
But I think it was all strategy for them to lose this game, because I think they want to crack at Dallas because I'm sure the Clippers, the organization, the fans, the players, they're still very butthurt that the Mavericks were very close to eliminating them. I still think if Porzingis was healthy, they would have eliminated the Clippers in the first round. But obviously now they want another crack at Dallas, and I'm glad to see that because like I'm all for like these rematches in the playoffs because it's always nice to have that intensity to watch as a fan. But the Clippers played very very well. They even though they lost because they had a bunch of their guys scoring in double figures. And there's this guy Terrence Mann off the bench who had 19 points. The Daniel Oturu with 13 points, 12 rebounds. Wow, a lot of guys with double figures. Very very good for them. Patrick Beverley, like you mentioned, not only is he a great scorer, but he's also very good on the defensive end, and that's very key for the Clippers if they want to make a run this year, because if they need to play very well defensively, it's not just Kawhi that has to play like a beast on defense. Patrick Beverley has to do his share as well because we know that there's a lot of scoring that goes on in the playoffs with every team. So if the Clippers want to do a big run, they're gonna need Patrick Beverley to play amazing defense, and if he doesn't do that, the Clippers couldn't go home early like they did last year. But obviously, like OKC, they're basically in the same boat as the Rockets. They're looking to get a lottery pick, whether it's Kate Cunningham, Evan Mobley, or Jalen Suggs. But obviously, there's this like European guy who I've been raving about since the start of the season, and I think he's really underrated. He should definitely get an all-rookie team without a doubt. Aleksej Pukazeski. He's been very, very good. You don't know who he is, Aaron?
Nah, I mean, some of these guys, on the Thunder, obviously we know where the Thunder is. They lost 50 games this year. They're looking in the other direction as well. Feel bad also because they have not been able to hold fans at all, and they're the only arena this year that actually did not get the chance to hold them. So obviously, I hope things clear up there with their health situations out there in Oklahoma.
Obviously.
But obviously, ever since Westbrook left, I just kind of feel like obviously that team and just the environment of that team, they just completely went in an opposite direction. And all they're looking at right now is building a new young core, and some of these guys that they have right now can get it done. They can absolutely get it done. They're young scorers, and that's how you build a team. I mean, look, they had Westbrook and Durant and Harden, all young guys, young talented guys, and they just came in there and built a dynasty there. And I feel like in that case for the Thunder this year. I feel like if they want to keep building on, this is a good core of people to do it. They got good talent. Obviously, some of their guys did not get a chance to play because it just didn't make any sense. Like, obviously, we know Svi Mikhailuk, former Laker. They didn't get to play DNPs. A lot of DNPs around the league today. Very, very, very common on the last game of regular season. But I wish them nothing but the best. I hope to see them around. It's fun to see the Thunder organization involved in the playoffs. I have a few people that are Thunder fans that I know. But let's also get into one of the other big games, Jazz, Kings, and then we'll go into the Mavericks and Timberwolves. Utah, man, we can't say enough about them. They've just been doing it all this year. They've been on a mission. Yes, don't get me wrong, it's a regular season. After today, everybody goes back to zero. Now everybody starts fresh. After the play-in tournament. But Utah, what a story they've been this year. They actually played all of their guys. I don't know, Manny, are you surprised? They played all their guys. They're the best. They have the best record. And all their guys played. Boban, Gobert, Connolly, Ingles, O'Neal. Their hot scorer was obviously no other than Jordan Clarkson. He's found a home there. He's been looking great. And then obviously on Sacramento's end, we know what they've been doing. They got young core as well. Buddy Hield, Taron Davis, and Ramsey. They got some good core people there too, and Utah is just a fun team, man. They're scary. They are absolutely scary.
Absolutely. I've mentioned people many times that I have the Lakers and Jazz meeting in the conference finals because not only are they been an amazing story and they have the best record in basketball. Not only am I wrong, Laker Nation. That's not the only reason why I have us meeting Utah in the conference finals, but because their defense is insane. I think besides us having the second best defense, Utah has the third best defense in all basketball. They are so
Oh yeah.
dominant. Rudy Gobert, like what's there to say about him? He's the best defender in all of basketball. It's not even close. He's the defending defensive player of the year, and it wouldn't surprise me if he wins it again this year. If either him or Ben Simmons will get it for sure. But Rudy Gobert, obviously, 16 boards is crazy, in my opinion, along with 13 points. And then, obviously, Bojan Bogdanovic with 18 points and 2 for 5 from the 3. Mike Conley is, he almost had a triple-double with 11 points, 9 rebounds, and 11 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists. Keep in mind, it's past 1 o'clock in the morning, so I'm thinking a bit here. But obviously, Joe Ingles, another great player. He's been there for quite a while on the Jazz. 10 points with 7 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 for 6 from the 3, 3 for 8 from the field. But obviously, there's one guy that stands out of all of them, and that is former Laker and the guy who was going to win Sixth Man of the Year in my eyes.
Should
Jordan
win. Should win.
Should win it without a doubt.
Absolutely.
If not for him, definitely Montrezl Harrell. If not for him, but definitely with 33 points off the bench is incredible. Like correct me if I'm wrong, Aaron, but Jordan Clarkson is literally looked like Lou Williams has the past 3 years. Literally.
Oh yeah.
He is literally
a
young.
Absolutely.
He could become a young Lou Williams in his career, and that's not too shabby in my opinion because he's like you said, he's found a home there, and if Utah can keep him, that's respect to them, obviously. But Sacramento Kings, obviously, another team is looking for the lottery, but I obviously feel really bad for the Sacramento. They haven't made the playoffs since I was in grade 4, which was back in 2006. Like people say the Knicks fans have been suffering. That's nothing compared to the Sacramento Kings fans. They have been abysmal for many, many years. I hope things get better for them very soon because they have a very promising young team. They have the Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Marvin Bagley, Rashawn Holmes, Tyrese Halliburton, who's, in my opinion, second or third in the Rookie of the Year voting. But it looks like they rested a lot of their guys from looking at the stats right here. It looks like only Buddy Hield played. That's really part of their main core. But Damian Jones, former Laker on the 10-day contract that we used to have, he's been looking pretty good in Sacramento. I think they signed him for the remainder of the season, if I'm not wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. But he had 19 points and 5 rebounds. Very great game for him. Obviously, Buddy Hield with 13 points and 9 assists and 7 rebounds. Almost got a triple-double. Shot bad from the 3, but it's all good for him. But if there's one guy that stands out off the bench, it is definitely Terrence Davis. Great game for Terrence Davis with 20 points and shooting 8 for 14 from the field, 2 for 5 from the 3. Obviously, the Sacramento Kings have a good young core, but the thing is, when are they going to make the playoffs? We have no idea.
Nah, honestly, we know what you feel, how you feel about Luke Walton, and
Terrible
how
coach.
you feel. Yeah, well, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's his last season. But we'll see what happens with that team. We'll get into Mavericks, Timberwolves, and then we'll kind of touch on the other teams, and we'll get ready to wrap it up here. Mavericks, Timberwolves, obviously. Minnesota took this one handily, 136-121. Doesn't really hurt Dallas either. It just obviously put originally us in a tie. And obviously, Finney Smith, Hardaway, Porzingis, Doncic, man. I mean, obviously we can't say enough about Luka this year. They basically played all their guys. Timberwolves pretty much played all their guys except for a few of them. Well, I can't ever say enough about just a few. There's a few players in the league you can't say enough about. Obviously, that's Luka Doncic.
Without a doubt. I still think he's going to be the next LeBron James in this league. Like when like I'm not saying as a player, but I'm saying like when LeBron retires, Luka Doncic will be the face of the NBA. Excuse me.
I'm not surprised. I mean, honestly,
I'm not
he
surprised
will.
either.
He will be. I mean, they're just, obviously him and Porzingis make such a great tag team combo
Oh, without
that
a doubt.
they're great. They have a great identity there, and obviously, it'll be exciting. Clippers and Dallas. That is pretty much a set stone. And I'm looking forward to that game because
Same.
they're both good. They're both great. Obviously, when Dallas is fully healthy, you could look out. I mean, it could go. You just never know how the games are going to go. Who on Minnesota on their end as well? Because obviously they had the advantage today. With obviously Anthony Edwards going off today for 30 points. Towns, we can't say enough about him, and D'Lo, 23 again. Minnesota, man, 23 for having a record of 23-49, just comes out and fights, man. They just don't give up. They are great. They are competitive. They are scrappy. Can't say enough about them when they are playing great.
Absolutely. The Timberwolves have a great young core. Just the thing is, it's their record, and but the thing is, I'm actually gonna call it the Timberwolves right now. Like, what the hell were you guys doing winning this game? Like not only that, the fact that they're fighting for the lottery, but the fact that they won this game is horrible because if they fall in the lottery, they could potentially lose their pick. So they actually made a big mistake winning this game. But obviously, shout out to Anthony Edwards, Karl-Anthony Towns, and D'Angelo Russell. But if the Timberwolves could keep their pick, and they add somebody else along with those three guys, that would be incredible, obviously. But Anthony Edwards, what does there say about him? Great young guy, 30 points, 5 for 9 from the three. Karl-Anthony Towns with 23 points and 9 rebounds, and then D'Angelo Russell with 23 points and 10 assists. I hope they keep their young core going, because if they don't, it could be a disaster. And Minnesota has been a dumpster fire of a NBA organization. Forgot that they got Jimmy Butler. They ended up running out Jimmy Butler out of town within 1 year in the NBA, which is horrible in my opinion. The Timberwolves really have to get their stuff together as an organization because they have a good young talent. They just got to win some games.
Exactly. Obviously, let's get into. We're just going to recap here of the other scores from around the league as well. Obviously, Bucks Bulls, that was 118-112. Bulls won that game. Heat and the Pistons 120-107. Sixers and the Magic 128 to 117. Nets 123 over the Cavs 109. Manny, of all games tonight, obviously besides the Lakers, Lakers getting it done. Anybody else were you surprised? Any big upsets? Any big wins? And what's your take on the last game of the regular season?
For the Lakers, I'm just happy that we won. But the thing is, I would have rathered also that Denver won as well. But like I said to start the show, it is what it is. We obviously can't control that, but let's go with the play-in tournament and let's beat the Warriors. Hopefully, knock on wood that we do.
Let's take care of business. Obviously, our next show will be Wednesday. Lakers and the Warriors play at 7 o'clock on ESPN. That means you could tune in. Lakers live starting at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, 9:30 on the East Coast. For Manny, Medina, and myself, I'm Aaron, guys. Thank you for joining us for Around the NBA, going over the last game of the regular season. Game 72 is in the books. And on to the play-in tournament, and we will see you guys on Wednesday. Take care, everybody.
Take care, guys.